Welcome back. All right, well, we'll continue with our Friday night show here where we take videos that you don't necessarily see on the other news networks or aren't in the news cycle, but they're important to see and they mean something and we want to discuss them. That being said, my buddy Amy is going to set up this next video. Go ahead.
Okay, real quick. So this is an advertisement from a Chinese firm. I'm not going to give you any more than that, okay, because shocking doesn't even begin to describe it.
Okay, but it does have something to do with racism. Go. All right, so why did you pick that video?
I get to stay frozen like that for like 10 minutes because I can't even put into words my reaction. Are you kidding me? I mean, it's just blatant racism, and obviously this advertisement company, they felt that there was an audience for this type of thing. I mean, I've heard from different media outlets that in certain provinces and sections of China, there is a stigma for different skin types, and there is some discrimination, and people have complained about that from smaller African communities within China. But yeah, it's ridiculous.
But it was inspired by another commercial of the same type that didn't air in China.
That's right.
Play it.
Jeans and heels, belly button showing, got some sex appeal. Streaks in your hair, fingernails did up, abs looking like you do 1,000 sit-ups.
See, now, is it bad of me that I want to have that body? If we're going back into the old segment, I mean, we might have that guy's body. But see, now, when you talk about the racism thing, right, in one case, we're throwing the black guy under the bus. Right. In the second case, we're making him out to be a god.
Right, so if this was an application for college under affirmative action, the second one would be okay, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, why isn't, for the first one, why isn't Black Lives Matters all over that? You know what I mean? I know why, because they're too busy accusing the Cincinnati Zoo of being racist against a gorilla for killing the gorilla to try to save a black boy.
Right, I know. But now you said, listen, we live in a crazy world, and that's why we're going to get into that in a couple minutes. But you said that there was an apology?
Oh, yeah, there was an apology.
Toss the apology up on the screen.
All right, so I just want to read in part. It says, due to the harm that has been caused to members of the ethnic African communities as a result of the advertisement circulation and the over-dramatization by the public opinion, we hereby express our apology. Which is basically, we're apologizing because we have to, because the media circulated this and people actually saw it and were appalled by it. So it's a half, you know what, apology.
All right, so here's a question, and maybe a little controversial, right? So let's say, for instance, we had in America a commercial where a black woman was doing the laundry and a white guy came in all dirty. She threw a breath mint in my mouth, threw me into the washing machine, and out came Kanye West. All right.
And Kanye West sponsored it.
Okay. You know, would racism be called?
Be just as egregious.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I mean,
I disagree. I think it would be.
I don't think so. It would sell a lot of the breath mints or laundry detergent. You know, because that's what's going to happen. Right?
All right. So, question on a serious note, right? I want to take this into racism. How long did you serve on the NYPD?
21 years.
21 years.
Yep.
Did you see a lot of racism over the course of time?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Was it both ways or one way?
Both ways.
Yeah?
Both ways. Black cops were racist towards black people. Yeah, I mean, there's no way to look at it any other way. Listen, as a cop, you see it all. You really do. As you travel around the city, you see it all. There was racism on both sides. There was racism, definitely against cops.
But the racism only is portrayed in the press one way.
Correct.
Have you ever seen it? I mean, going back those 21 years, do you ever remember the racism ever?
Well, remember, there was a vast different time in the late 70s, early 80s in the city and around the country towards racism.
Well, in what sense?
It wasn't as PC back then. Certain things could be said back then. Even black on black. It still goes on now in areas of diversity.
So you're saying that the racism that we're seeing here today, that we're seeing all the time, is basically because of political correctness. It's being highlighted?
No, I think it's properly being highlighted.
But it's only being highlighted one way, Tom.
It is being highlighted one way. To your point, if a black woman threw it in and Kanye West came out, would it be racist? I don't think that anyone would have a problem. He takes the stage at things and says crazy stuff. No one calls that racist.
Why are blacks allowed to call each other the N-word, but if I call somebody the N-word, I'm basically going to lose my entire future?
That's a great question. You know what? It's considered a cultural thing by a lot of people. And I don't know, I wouldn't be okay with somebody calling me a racist term who was white, so I don't know. I don't think racism has a color. I think it's a matter of education. And so I think, yes, to your point, is there as much advocacy against racism in the reverse? No, but that may just be because there simply aren't enough groups taking up that cause for whatever reason. Maybe they're fearful, maybe there hasn't been an inspirational event to create that type of an organization the way that slavery did for people who now have all these advocacy organizations like Black Lives Matter. So I think a lot of it has to do with education, but also history and culture and how grassroots organizations have arisen in this country.
I will tell you something. If a black cop used the N-word against a black civilian, he'd be brought up on charges, and justifiably so.
Right. But they're allowed to do it as they want to do it,
all the time.
And nobody sees any problem with it?
Well, I also think that having the kids that I have and listening to the music that they listen to today, there's a lot of conversations that go on in my house about, these songs, these rap songs that they're listening to and they're singing, and the conversation of racism is constantly coming up, and the words that they're using, that they cannot use these words outside. These words are not, but Mom, he's singing it, she's singing it. It doesn't matter. I don't care that they're singing it. These words, these songs are not. You shouldn't even be listening to it.
That's the double standard I'm talking about. See what's happening, even what you're doing with your kids. And I understand why you're saying it. And I'm not going to give any parenting lessons to anybody. I mean, I'm just, you be your own thing. But look at the way that you are basically, and I'm not blaming you. This is society. You are shackling your own child. You're telling them they can do it and they could get away with it, but you can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, but here's the thing too. I'm not saying that it's
so unfair.
No, but it's not actually, because I'm not telling them that it's okay that they're singing it either. I don't think these songs. I think these songs. Have you listened to some of them?
Of course, I've listened to it.
They shouldn't be on the radio.
They shouldn't. You're ignoring the psychological component of it. By people who are called something in an oppressive way, and they take that term and use it themselves in a different context. They're taking the power away from the oppressive term. They are owning the term. They are characterizing the term. Well, some people feel that way.
They can recharacterize it, but I can't. I will lose everything. I will lose everything.
Because you were never called it. You were never called it, so therefore it's not yours to claim it.
Come on,
It's definitely a double standard.
It's a double standard.
It's double standard because if I did it as a cop, I would have either been fired or brought up on charges. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
The President of the United States gets on television all the time, and he says how Trayvon Martin could be his son. He turns around and he boasts about how it is that he's so proud of places like Black Lives Matter for standing up and taking charge.
It could have happened to him.
Yeah,
it could have happened to him.
Yeah, but when it's a white person, he doesn't say jack. He doesn't say anything.
Okay, so you're telling me that women wouldn't want Hillary to stand up for them if she was in office?
Never sent anyone to a cop's funeral anytime during this administration. To a cop's funeral who died in the line of duty.
Right there. How do you argue that?
No,
how do you
I think
argue
that's terrible.
But yet you sent 3 people to Trayvon Martin's funeral.
Well, that's a whole other
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah,
That's another topic.
And you know what? And he sent people out to Ferguson, right, to investigate that, but he never turns around and investigates anything. Kate Steinle got killed by an illegal alien. You think he said anything about it?
Nope.
He'd let it go. Go ahead.
No,
because I get furious over this topic.
This guy right here is undermining his own point. You're saying that they never sent anyone from the administration to a cop's funeral, but then on the other hand, you're saying, well, if there was a black cop who said something racist against a black teenager, he'd be brought up in charges.
Should be brought
so that
up on
shows
charges.
that there's no double standard, because you're taking somebody who's black who's insulting somebody else, just like the Freddie Gray police officers. There were some black police officers there. They're being brought up in charges. There's no immunity just because of your color.
Okay, I want to just say this before we go to this commercial. If black people want to have more respect, give more respect, stop calling yourself the N-word. It's not cool. All right, we'll be back.